Hey everybody, it's Chris Willa Williams. Welcome back. We're at Wealth Building Wednesdays. I am back in the States. I'm at my home studio, as you can see. Well, really the office studio, but I mean back in the city that I live. We've been doing this series. We just started up Wealth Building Wednesdays. And really this series is about sharing with you guys different knowledge that I've acquired or accumulated over the years of being a real estate agent and having a lot of exposure to people who are making money, also attending a lot of classes and courses, spending money literally year over year. Right up into the pandemic, I was probably spending somewhere in the realm of $15,000 a year going to courses and classes, and I'm not done yet. I've still got a lot more money to spend to acquire a lot more knowledge, because as I go, you find out some new things, some new instance, and then you've got to learn something else. A lot of what we try to do with our team here in real estate, as the Go-Getter team, is really not only help people buy houses, but also help improve their lives. We have, of course, people who are all over the spectrum in terms of what they can afford, but most certainly whenever we're working with a first-time home buyer or someone who may be underfunded for purchase of a property, we're always trying to make sure that we're putting them in the best position to succeed, which is why I believe so many people choose us and refer us to their friends and family. Now, the big piece here, we're doing Wealth Building Wednesdays because, again, like I said, coming along the way, starting a business from the ground up, really not knowing a lot of people who were owning businesses, or a lot of people who were really savvy with their financials. It's really made an impression upon me with all the hundreds of people that I help, probably thousands at this point, who have not had any information or had the access to information. And now we have this great thing called social media. So if you hearken back to the last few weeks, some of what we've talked about is the cycle of wealth, so to speak. And we're covering 5 pieces to the cycle of wealth, 5 points. The first is you've got to learn how to earn money. And we talked a little bit about that, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go back and watch it. It's a big piece of foundational knowledge that's in that video. The second thing we talk about is how to keep money. Keeping money is very important. Many of us, we learn how to earn money at a young age. We learn some portion of how to earn money, whether it's a little bit or a lot of it. But earning money is important, but learning how to keep money can be even more important. They say when you're investing, it's less about the money that you make and more about the money that you keep. So that is a huge piece to understand. The third piece that we talked a lot about is how to grow money. So we earn money, we keep money, we grow money, and then that leads us to the fourth piece, which is we protect money. Once we learn how to protect money, our money is growing, our money is flourishing. There's that fifth piece that's important to many people like myself, and probably a lot of my audience out there. We've got to learn how to give money. Now, you may say, well, Chris Willa Williams, I already know how to give money. You just give money. But there's a smart way to give money and a not so smart way to give money. There's different things that you can do to not only set people up in the future, but also make sure that they have money for years to come. Your give money could be to family. Maybe what you need to do when you want to give money to family is you need to set up a trust and make sure that the trust distributes money over an extended period of time. So if that family member or family that you're donating money to, they haven't learned how to use money, they don't just go immediately broke. So first advice is learn the ins and outs of setting up trust. There are a couple types. There's one called a revocable trust, which means that you can actually change the trust, and there's another one called irrevocable trust. Both have advantages. One type of trust has the advantage to make changes, the other one doesn't. The important piece to learn is they each have different tax advantages. Sometimes you can pass money in a trust without paying taxes. So that's, again, when we come back to giving money the smart way, that could be a way. Now, mind you, while we do this series, I'm really covering things in a high-level way. You really want to speak to a financial advisor or a financial professional, a tax accountant, I am not that. I am a real estate agent who's just sharing with you things that I've come in contact with so that you become aware of things that you should be searching for, right? Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? That's a big piece of knowledge. Like, you know the things that you know, and you're aware that there's some things that you don't know, but there's a whole nother category out there where there are things that you don't even know you don't know until you come in contact with them. Like, I didn't know all the dynamics of trust and layered corporations and everything until I started coming in contact with the people who could explain it to me and explain why it might make sense in my situation. Now, another piece about giving money is maybe you want to give a charitable contribution to a large-scale organization. Rather than contribute a larger sum of money to an organization, maybe what you want to do is structure the give so that you give over time. Again, another way to ensure that they don't just blow through the money and use it ill-advised in a way that's not beneficial for the constituency that they want to serve or the people that they want to serve. So you want to make sure you learn how to give money in a way where it lasts and it has the effect that you intend. One way is, of course, like we said, through trust. Another way is, structured giving, setting something up where there's a give to a large-scale organization that maybe you want to help. Maybe it's the Red Cross, maybe it's the Girl and Boys Club, or Boys and Girls Club, Big Brother, Little Sister, Salvation Army, American Cancer Society. There are so many places you can give. Most recently, our organization, the Go Getter Team, we're part of a fundraiser in which our clients, friends of our company helped us donate to the Ronald McDonald House. So you want to make sure that the way that you give is smart. The other piece here is sometimes if you give too much money to people who are unused to money, they find themselves in a worse position than what they would have been if you haven't given them money. This harkens back or goes back to what we were talking about making sure we give structured gives, making sure we give it in a way that's smart and thoughtful. And you really want to sit down with, an attorney, a tax professional, and a financial advisor. So it's important that you're always keeping these people in tow. If you have something like real estate, you want to make sure you're talking to real estate professionals, 1031 exchange professionals to help you potentially give that real estate away in such a way where the tax burden is light and the people who get that can actually hold it. I've seen so many times where people will or deed property over to someone else and they don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to keep it. Usually they wind up selling it. And that's not a bad thing, because if they don't know what to do with it, it's better that they sell it than they let the neighborhood deteriorate because they aren't managing the property correctly. So another piece here, and this is really important because I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one. You also want to make sure you come up with a set of instructions for the money that you give or the property that you give. Maybe with a house, you need to leave care instructions, how to care for the house. There's so many people who never owned a home before. They get a home willed to them or deeded to them, and they have no idea how to take care of it, and nobody's ever taught them. The best way that we can move the generations forward is to always make sure we're giving out education. The big piece here of why I want to share with so many people is because I want to make sure it gets passed. I hope that you and your family are going through the wealth cycle and really considering how you want to give smartly to the people that you love and trust. Now, as I mentioned to you before, over the coming weeks, we're going to be bringing in professionals that'll sit down with me at different intervals and talk about some of these fine points that we covered in this cycle of wealth so that we can get more insight from those professionals. Now, I'm Chris Willa Williams. We're with the Go Getter Team. I'm a real estate professional in Metro Atlanta that services the Metro Atlanta area and also helps people move to other states. If you have questions about real estate, we're always here for you. And if you have questions about some of the topics we talked about today, we can help refer you to the right professionals. Now, I must have talked the lights out in the building because literally the lighting just changed and all the lighting went out in the building. So I must be doing something special. Until next week, when we cover our next topic, where we'll go a little bit deeper into earning money, I'm wishing that you do a little research and maybe come back with some things that you can tell me. I look forward to seeing you next week.